Talk is cheap, I'd rather show you what I got. Where I walk, where I talk. See me flying down my route, pass me the ball. I ain't dropping none, I don't fumble at all. Winner, chicken dinner every time we ball. Throwing it like a burner, I dunk it like LeBron. Monday Night Fredo, Infinity TV. Monday Night Fredo.
That is right. It is Monday Night Fredo live from the Infinity Studios here in Los Angeles, man. It has been a crazy weekend so far. And, it was something that we were maybe expecting to see. Some Los Angeles teams winning, some are losing, and other people are waving guns at strip clubs. Yes, and that's where I want to start off the show with. When you think about a young guy, a young athlete who is just coming up and he's going to be maybe one of the faces of the NBA moving forward in Ja Morant, how great he played last season during the playoffs, almost making it to the NBA Finals and taking down the Golden State Warriors. Almost they were there. A lot of people were like, okay, this kid, he's the one. He's coming for everybody. He's coming for everyone's paychecks. But guess who's coming for his paychecks now? Maybe Powerade, maybe Nike, who just signed a deal with them, and maybe the Memphis Grizzlies, who just gave them a 5-year extension deal worth over $250 million. And I'm talking about the 24-year-old Ja Morant. Ja Morant had a game on Friday night in Denver on primetime on ESPN. They were up by like 13 points in the first half. They were looking very good, like a team that can't beat Denver in Denver. Denver has only lost twice all season long. We're 5 months into the NBA season already, and Denver has only lost twice at home. The Grizzlies were right there. They had their neck right against the wall. But you know what? In the second half, things always happen. Ja Morant shot 2 for 12 from the field in the second half. Just played like maybe any other guy, maybe like Will Barton. But Ja Morant decided, you know what? Team players, all the team, we're having a meeting after the game. Ja Morant was trying, did not do this, he was trying to lead a players-only meeting right after the loss in Denver in the locker room. He tried. Center Steven Adams stepped in and said a few other things, according to some reports, that this players meeting only was to talk about off-the-court traveling plans and situations. Because if you travel 24/7 with this team, there got to be certain things coordinated to put together. So when the game's over, you head to one place, you go to the hotel, you got certain things. You got a busy schedule when you're traveling. The players wanted to have a players-only meeting in regarding outgoing situations when they are on the road. Ja Morant was pissed leaving the meeting. He was pissed. He was like, I'm out. I'm out of this meeting. Ja Morant and Steven Adams had a few words to each other. Ja Morant left. Hours later, was spotted at a club. Not just any club. He was spotted at Shotgun Willie's. Shotgun Willie's in Denver, Colorado at 5:19 in the morning. What the hell are you doing at 5 a.m. in the morning in Denver when you got to be in Los Angeles 24 hours later to play a game? You're out there waving your gun at a strip club. What are you doing? I mean, if you're going to a strip club, you're going out there to have some fun. Maybe get your mind off of things after losing a bad game that you should have had won on Friday night. But you're out there waving guns around like it's just a joke. Hey, guess what, Ja Morant? The joke is on you. There is a law in Colorado, if you didn't know about the law, but there's a law that you cannot possess a gun, especially at a location like a strip club, being under the influence of alcohol. You just can't. That's against the law. Guess what, Ja? You broke the law. Not the Colorado police. It's investigating. Combined with the NBA are putting up this big kind of, I mean, you can really see, not a lot of things have happened like this in the past few years. I mean, we can recall the situation that happened with the Washington Wizards and Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton. There was an incident that happened with Carmelo Anthony a few years ago as well. And then we all recall everything that happened with Jalen Rose almost 20-some years ago. Jaw, what are you doing? That has to be the question of every family member, every fan, every person in Memphis, especially players and team ownership, coach, father, everyone. What are you doing, Jaw? You got millions of dollars. You got almost $250 million just waiting to be handed to you from Nike, Powerade, and every other sponsorship and endorsement you got. And you're throwing it away for what? Oh, wait. This is not the first time this happens. Let me tell you guys a little bit more background on what this kid, John Morant, this 24-year-old kid, is doing. Because, yeah, I want to call him a kid that has no common sense in what the hell he's doing. About 2 months ago, this is the part that kind of irritates people more. About 2 months ago, John Morant beat up a 17-year-old kid. This wasn't on the news until a few weeks ago. John Morant punched not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, but 13 times he punched his kid in the face. It wasn't reported until a few days ago. It came out. And guess what he did afterwards? He went inside. Apparently, this was happening in a location in Houston, Texas. This happened in Houston, Texas. Gun laws are a little different in Texas. They're a little different. But apparently, after he punched the kid multiple times, the kid's parents and the kid did not make no report to the police, nothing. But right before that, John Morant went into whatever car, anything he went, he put his gun in his waist. So let me stop you right there, John. You're out there months ago beating up on kids, underage kids, and waving a gun and carrying guns. What are you doing, Jaw? I don't know. I honestly do not know. And this is one thing I do want to say. And now I'm going to close it out because I don't want to say any more thing about John Morant. He's taking a lot of my time here. But please, people, do not blame T. Morant for this. T. Morant is his father. A lot of I heard a lot over the last few days. Oh, it's his father's fault. His father's the one letting them get into all that mess. It's his father's fault. No, it's not his father's fault. His father maybe didn't buy him the gun. Didn't maybe know he had a gun. It's not his fault. Yeah, they can be like, well, you stop being a fan and be a father. What the does that mean, stop being a fan and be a father? You can be a fan of your son, especially when your son is that great, playing in the NBA, one of the best players out there. Yeah, he got into it with Shannon Sharp from Fox Sports a few weeks ago over at the Crypto.com arena. We saw that happen. We saw a lot of that going on. But you cannot put the blame on T. You just can't put the blame on his father. You can't. His father, this is a backstory. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody out there, put it on the comments below. Tag me on Instagram and Twitter at Fredo Cervantes. But John Morant attended Murray State. A lot of people might be like, well, where the hell is Murray State? I don't even know where Murray State is. But that's where John Morant attended school. And from what I do know about Murray State, it's not one of the best schools around. That's one thing I do know. He went to that type of school, and nowadays, a lot of college athletes are being taught in how to behave themselves, how to talk to the media, how to handle the media, how to do certain things on and off the court. Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse, Clemson, Georgia, UCLA, USC, these schools provide those courses for these individuals. So it's not John Morant's fault that he couldn't make it to one of these big-time colleges and he ended up being at Murray State where they didn't teach their players certain things. But if you're going to be out there waving guns, punching kids, underage kids, and then now you're over there with this whole mess. Like it's crazy. It's the people he's hanging out with. It's the people he's hanging out with that are making him this guy. Because Ja, you know you're not that guy, but you want to be that guy. You want to be. You maybe want to be cool. You're 24 years old. You're gonna learn. You're definitely gonna learn after today. But this whole nonsense about it's T. Morant's fault, it's his father's fault. His father got to stop being a friend to him and be his father. No, don't tell nobody how to be a father to their own kids. Just don't. That's the same thing that people try to tell LeVar Ball how to do. But no, LeVar is a great guy. LeVar put his kids in the right situation to succeed. That's the same thing that T. Morant did for Ja. He put him in the right situation to succeed. It's crazy. It's crazy. But now I hope Adam Silver gets this right. I personally do believe that Josh should be suspended for the rest of the regular season. That is how I feel. That's my personal opinion. There's been other situations with guns and like the whole thing investigation now is where was that gun? Where did it come from? Was it in his traveling bag that traveled from maybe Memphis to Colorado in the team plane, in the locker room, inside the Ball Arena in Denver? Like, people are now investigating that part. So once all that information comes out, we will see how bad this is for Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies and the whole city of Memphis. Because it sucks. But guess what? We're not in Memphis. We're in Los Angeles. We're having fun out here. LA is finally winning. And when we return here on Monday Night Fredo, I will let you guys know what team has more of a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. Is it the Lakers or is it the Clippers? I'll let you know when we return.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
Yeah, we're back here on Monday Night Fredo. Myself, Fredo Cervantes, here at the Infinity Studios. And I want to let you guys know because today is a 1-year anniversary of Monday Night Fredo premiering here at the Infinity Studios. It's been exactly 1 year from last March 7th, 2022. So it's been a long year. It's been a great year, and we got a lot more coming for you guys, okay? So right now, I do want to talk about the Los Angeles teams. There's 2 teams in LA that are battling it out for some of the remaining spots in the Western Conference, which is the Los Angeles Clippers and the LA Lakers. A lot of people want to give up on the Lakers. I am one of them because I don't believe in Darvin Ham. I don't believe in his style of coaching. But it seemed like the players and Anthony Davis believed in Darvin Ham. And maybe not just believed in Darvin Ham, but believed that they had a chance to beat on the Warriors at home on Sunday afternoon. AD showed up. AD showed out. 39 points, 15 rebounds, a few assists. He did his thing, scored about 10 points in the fourth quarter, and like about 8 of them in the last 4 minutes of the game. He was just very, very good. I loved the intensity he was bringing out there, the excitement, like watching the game. You felt that this was like a playoff game, like something. There was so much riding on this game, a lot, because especially when you play the Warriors, you got to win. You got to win big games. You just got to. The Lakers are 2-2 right now in the last 4 games without LeBron James ever since his ankle injury. But one thing that was kind of funny, I mean, I was watching the game, as all you guys probably would. Stephen Curry was playing in the game. Stephen Curry went up for a layup. He got banged up. He got knocked down to the floor. LeBron James, if your ankle is that bad, your foot's that bad, why are you going to get up off the bench, walk like 10, 15 feet over, pick up Steph Curry from the floor, and have a little chat with them? I mean, I get it. I mean, you're friends. You got to be competitive. This is the NBA. You shouldn't be getting up out of your bench and going and picking up Steph Curry 10, 15 feet away. What are you doing? I didn't see you picking up the AD when he fell. I didn't see you pick up Austin Reeves when he fell. I didn't see none of that. But, yeah, you go pick up Curry. Are you recruiting Curry to the Lakers? If you are, all right, cool. By all means, go ahead and pick him up if you're going to bring him over. But, yeah, Steph Curry scored 19 points in the fourth quarter, which was the highest he's had all year long. But they still ruined it. They did not finish the game. Draymond Green kind of sprained his finger. Klay Thompson was being typical Klay Thompson. Jordan Poole had an off day. And, Kayvon Looney is another underrated guy for the Warriors who always gives them 10, 10, and 10. Doing a good job. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the Lakers or if it's the Clippers are going to have a better year this year. The Clippers kind of were looking to be like, okay, well, now you got Russell Westbrook. Now you're going to be a good team. No, they started 0-5 and finally won their first game last night against the Memphis Grizzlies without John Morant. Yes, because we know he most likely is going to be in deep trouble. But the Memphis Grizzlies did not complete the overall victory against the Clippers because they were up. The Memphis Grizzlies were up by 10 without Ja and these guys. They were up at 10 in the fourth quarter. It was into Kawhi Leonard, 2 steals, 2 buckets. Paul George hits a 3. Westbrook gets a steal, kicks it to Paul George, now down by 1. It was just like, what just happened? What happened to these Clippers? Ty Lue did say after the game that he was like, I'm not sure what got into these guys, but it seemed like something turned on. Something turned on with everyone. It's like I just had to hit the on button for all of them. And they all just seemed to click. If I see that same Clipper team that played in the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter yesterday, if I see that same team throughout the year, the Clippers are going to get further than the Lakers this season. They definitely are if they continue to play the same way. I get it. LeBron's not back. D'Angelo Russell's not back yet. Once you get those players back into the lineup, you will see a different Laker team. But I've not seen a Laker team that can really fight from behind. I get it. They won that big game in Milwaukee like about a month ago. They won some big games, especially in Dallas early in the year as well. But I have not seen anything from Darvin Ham to really believe that the Lakers can get to that far. Because believe it or not, they're going to be in the first game, maybe game 2 of the first round, down by 3 or down by 2, and Darvin Ham is going to call one of the dumbest plays ever, and they're not going to win. I just cannot believe in Darvin Ham. I mean, I wish. I was watching Brian Shaw yesterday sit down on the bench with Ty Lue, coaching the Clippers. Ty Lue and Brian Shaw put together right there. I wish that was the Laker coaching bench right there. Brian Shaw is a great guy. Great guy. Was with the organization for so many years. But yeah, that's the situation right there that I gotta say, guys. Yeah, believe it or not, that's the case. That's how I feel that the Clippers are gonna get further than the Los Angeles Lakers. That's the real case right there. That is the real case. But I'm going to go ahead and touch this real quick before we go to a quick commercial break because I do want to talk a little bit about the NFL. 2 big changes, free agency right around the corner. Amazing. But the Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. The Suns and the Dallas Mavericks are 2 other individuals who may be the best teams in the Western Conference right now above the Lakers and the Clippers. I mean, you got Kevin Durant, game-winning shot, 3-0 with the Suns so far after being traded down there. The Mavericks are looking pretty good, even though they started 0-2 with Kyrie Irving. Now they're back on the winning side. They lost this game by 2 points. But what I saw in Luka Doncic battling with Devin Booker at the end of the game, the disrespect by Devin Booker, the disrespect, like there's certain players out there, not certain, there's a few who like to talk a lot during the games, but there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of them that like to talk after the game ends. Some people are very afraid. They're scared. They don't want to talk during the game because they don't want to jinx themselves. They don't know. They don't want to walk themselves into something that they weren't expecting. But Devin Booker, the moment Luka misses that little open layup to tie up the game and head to overtime, he missed it. And Devin Booker points it out and starts laughing at him in a way. Said some comment. I'm not sure exactly what those words were, but Luka was not so happy about it. Luka went straight to his face to face. They were like this. Booyah. Right there. I don't know what I was watching, but yeah, they were face to face and they were like, hey, don't talk. Don't talk after the game. Talk during the game. Talk during the game. And that's what Luka told Devin Booker. And I agree with that. Luka dropping 34 points yesterday. Kyrie Irving looking amazing as well. KD finished up the night with 37 points. I mean, I don't see another team coming out of the Western Conference besides the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are pretty good, man. They're good. They're good. I mean, you got DeAndre Ayton, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Cameron Payton. You got those guys out there. They're looking pretty good. So, Suns, Boston Celtics, NBA Finals, cash your ticket right there. That's the final matchup you're going to get. But the Western Conference matchup you're going to get is going to be the Mavs. The Mavs are pretty good, too. There's no one better than the Mavs and the Suns right now in the Western Conference besides maybe the Denver Nuggets. I'm leaning the Denver being my third team coming out of the West. But, yeah, that's looking pretty interesting right there. Phoenix and Dallas, I don't know how they're going to come out to play out at the end of the year. But I know one thing. I know there's one individual who, if you've been watching Monday Night Fredo for the past year, you know that there's one quarterback in the league that I've maybe criticized every time I've got the chance to here on camera. And I will talk about that individual when I return here on Monday Night Fredo.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
Yeah, we're back here on Monday Night Fredo, live from Los Angeles. What a beautiful time it has been here, man. What a beautiful, beautiful time. Especially what a great time it's been here at the Infinity Studios, man. It's been a year of Monday Night Fredo. And in the 1-year anniversary, I'm going to talk about the guy that I maybe had talked in my whole, I don't know, maybe 50-some episodes I've had all year long. But there was a guy who kind of took the main stage on every episode during the NFL season. Goes by the name of Derek Carr. You guys know this, man. You guys know him very well, especially if you're an Oakland Raider fan or Las Vegas Raiders fan. But there was a situation that happened where, Derek Carr and the Raiders just seemed to not click. They weren't so happy about what was going on in almost a decade together. I mean, when you're with someone in a decade almost, you kind of know them inside and out. Vegas took them 9 years to figure out what was going on with Derek Carr. They knew that Derek Carr was not the same Derek Carr they had in 2017. They were like, okay, well, look, if we feel that Derek, you need players, we'll get you some players. Who do you want, Darren Waller? We got you, Darren Waller. Oh, you need Renfro? We'll get you, Darren Renfro. Oh, you want that guy that what's his name? Not Tom Brady, but Aaron Rodgers. You want the guy that's throwing the ball to Aaron Rodgers? Oh, you want Devontae Adams? We'll get you Devontae Adams. And guess what? The Raiders were out of the playoffs in the first 6 weeks of the NFL season. There was no way that they were going to be able to turn around the whole season. So management, everyone up there in Las Vegas were maybe like, okay, this car is done. This car is beat up. It's done. No one wants to ride that car anymore. Nobody wants to ride it no more. They're like, no, okay, let's kick it off to the curve. Let's move on to another car. And, believe it or not, it took for New Orleans to be like, you know what? I want to pimp your ride. And that's exactly what New Orleans did. If some of you guys remember that TV show, Pimp My Ride, with the exhibit on MTV decades ago, back in the early 2000s or so, there was that show that, you always had one individual somewhere around town, maybe somewhere in Southern California, that's where the show was based out of. They would find someone and be like, hey, that car looks beat up. That got no windows. It got no tint. It got no roof. It got no radio. Got no AC, no heater. But it's still rolling. You got a motor in that thing. You got 4 wheels, some of them. But you kept rolling through that car. And you're like, I'm going to ride this car. There's maybe some people that didn't want to ride in those cars. Those beat up old cars. But what did they do? What does Pimp My Ride do? Pimp My Ride goes and say, hey, I want to pimp your ride. I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to make every single person in the world want to ride your car. And that's exactly what the New Orleans Saints are doing to Derek Carr. Every player in that New Orleans Saints locker room right now are excited. They're happy. They're getting a veteran quarterback, someone who needs to be put in the right situation to be successful. That's what needs to happen. And that's what's the situation with a lot of athletes. They got to be put in the right situation in order to succeed. A perfect example, Kobe Bryant years ago. He was put in the right situation to succeed. And you had to keep Kobe Bryant in Charlotte, I don't think Kobe would have been Kobe. That would not have happened. But it happened. Him being traded for Vlade Divac, coming to Los Angeles, being paired up in his rookie year with Shaquille O'Neal. Again, happy birthday to Shaquille O'Neal today. I believe he's like 50-some years old now, Shaq. Here, March the 6th. It's crazy. But, I mean, when you look at certain players that are just put in right situations, that's what happened with Derek Carr. He's put over here with Kamara, Michael Thomas, Steven Johnson, some great defensive players and some great offensive players. You got a running back. You got a wide receiver. You got a tight end. And you got a coach. And you got a system. And you got a city behind you. A city that loves their football team. The Raiders don't love their football team. The Raiders just like to beat up on people. I mean, sometimes the action got to stay on the field. But sometimes the action with the Raiders fans is always off the field, which it's in the stands, in the parking lot, beating up on people. That's maybe a situation that Derek Carr was maybe like, hey, I want to get out of this. I want to go to a winning situation. I want to go to New Orleans. That's where he wants to go. And that's exactly where he's going on the 4-year deal worth $150 million. That is some crazy money. That's money that Oakland was never planning on giving Derek Carr that money. Never. Ever. Oakland was like, that car, we're not going to give you that money. It's like if I take my beat up 1987 Nissan Sentra, old beat up car, I take it to the dealership, and I'm like, hey, I want to trade this in for that car. Like, hell no, you're not. You better go take that thing somewhere else. I get it pimped out. Brand new. Now people want to ride it. And that's exactly what's going on with the New Orleans Saints and Derek Carr. But another thing I want to touch base before I do let you guys go, Geno Smith, Seattle Seahawks quarterback, just signed a 3-year extension worth almost $100 million. So quarterbacks are just signing off with everyone else going on. March 15 is the beginning of the NFL free agency. NFL free agency last year was nuts. This year, it's going to be crazier. But that is it from Monday Night Fredo here from the Infinity Studios in Los Angeles. I will see you next week.